Good morning. Today's recording is for Pre-Algebra Chapter 7, Lesson 6, Transforming Formulas. Basically what we're doing is we're taking something that has multiple variables and solving for a specific one. And when you use the properties of equality, which you do to one side, you have to do to the other, to transform a formula, i.e. solve for a specific variable, to represent one quantity in terms of another. Basically solving for a specific variable and then, for example, getting one specific variable by itself. So, depending on what's going on, there's like a lot of different things that you need to do. Basically, it's either a one-step or multi-step or two-step equation, and it's just like what you guys have been doing before. I will make the table, though it'll look kind of goofy because when you go to like do the division, multiplication, addition, subtraction, you won't actually be able to simplify because you're not going to know what these numbers are. And if you are going to be able to simplify, it's going to be very little. Okay? So, we need to solve for the highlighted variable. Alright? So we have P equals S minus C, where we need to get S by itself because it's the highlighted variable. In your textbook, they're going to be a different color. The letter is going to be red. And you're going to have to get the red letter by itself. Alright. So, we're going to make our table, and we're going to add C on both sides so we can get S by itself. We're going to end up with P plus C equals S. That's it. Yay. Alright, next one, we have H equals K over J, where we need to solve for K. So, what's happening to K? It's being divided by J, so the opposite of that would be multiplying by J on both sides. So, HJ equals K. There you go. Alright, number 3, I equals PRT, and we're actually going to be dealing with this formula a lot in the next lesson because it's the interest formula. So we need to get P by itself. Now this might not look like a one-step equation because we have two variables to move, but since they're both being multiplied, I can divide them at the same time. So I'm going to divide by RT, and I'm going to get I over RT equals P. There you go. And again, it looks like a two-step, but it's really a one-step. Yep, the same operation, but both require the same operation to move. They can be moved at the same time. All right, so two-step equations. Don't forget your heart. Most of you guys should remember hearts. When you divide two terms by the same number, both terms get divided. And remember, terms are separated by addition or subtraction. So if we need to get A by itself, I'm going to minus 7 on both sides, and then we're going to divide. And remember, I can't do B minus 7 since I don't know what B is. They're not common terms. They don't look alike. They're not like terms, so I can't subtract B and 7. But now to get A completely by itself, I need to divide by 5. This is where hearts comes in. So A equals B over 5 minus 7 over 5. And that's actually the final answer. Now you could also write it as A equals B minus 7 over 5, and that's completely okay right now as well. But I want you to remember hearts and be able to get to this because sometimes you will be able to simplify those fractions, and if you simplify it, you can't write it like that. Okay? So let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. We have P equals 2L plus 2W, where we're solving for W. And we can move the 2L at the same time because they're both being added to 2W. Alright, so we're going to minus 2L on both sides and move it to the other side. We're going to end up with P minus 2L. And again, we can't simplify P minus 2L because they are not like terms. P minus 2L equals 2W. We're going to divide by 2, and this is where hearts really comes important. Yeah, technically you can write it without doing hearts past this point, but since we have a 2 over 2 for the L, it's going to cancel out. So we're going to end up with P over 2 minus L, okay? Because only the 2 next to the L cancels out the L, the 2 there, all right? We still have P divided by 2 because of hearts, all right? So W equals P over 2 minus L. All right, next problem, y equals x over 3 plus 8. So we're going to, remember low priority moves first, that's adding and subtracting, and higher priority moves second, which is multiplication and division. So we're going to minus 8 on both sides, and we're going to get y minus 8, because again, you can't subtract y and 8. Sorry, can't do it. So y minus 8 equals x over 8. So to get rid of the 8 under the x, we're going to multiply both sides by 8. And then we need to actually distribute. So it's actually important to distribute. Remember to distribute, okay? We're distributing. And that's basically so we can simplify. So we're going to end up with a 8y, or 8 times y, minus 64, because 8 times 8 is 64. And remember, this is the blue Angry Bird thing, distribution, okay? So again, it works out, and distribute, distributive property, not hearts and distributive property. Okay, so you plan a 425-mile trip to Antelope Valley, California Puppy Reserve. You estimate you will average 50 miles per hour. To find out about how long the trip will take, solve the distance formula, d equals RT for t, then solve to find the time. So we're going to divide by r, and we're going to get d divided by r equals t. And then we have the equation, and we can replace d with distance, which is 425, and r, which is the rate, with 50 miles per hour. And we're going to get 250 miles over 50 miles per hour, and that cancels out, because we're just dividing, as 8.5 hours. The only thing is how does this work? Miss DH, you're like, hours are on the bottom. How does that work? Well, even if you didn't think that, I need you to know anyway. So here's the problem again. 425 miles divided by 50 miles divided by hours. Well, that looks like this. 425 miles divided by 50 miles divided by hours is equal to 225 miles divided by 50 miles over hours. Multiply by the reciprocal, and then the miles are going to cancel out, and it leaves you hours. That's why it works. Okay? So pay attention to that. This is still a fraction right here. Still a fraction, which is what allows us to have hours on the top. Okay? All right. So solve the batting average formula for A equals H over N for H. Find the number of hits H a batter needs in 40 times at bat, N, to have an average of 0.275. Well, A is the average. So let's go ahead and solve for A, or H. We're going to multiply by N on both sides to cancel out the divide by N, and we're going to end up with average times number of hits, or number of times at bat, equals the number of hits. So let's go ahead and replace it in the formula, which is the average times the number of times at bat equals hits. Well, that's 11 hits. Very good. All right, guys. We are done. I wanted a quick video for this because it's kind of a frustrating topic sometimes, and you'll probably see it when you actually get to your actual math homework. But I want to remind you that before you start solving for a letter, you need to make sure you distribute first. So especially when you get to problem number 13 in your textbook, or at least on page 369, pay attention to that one, because you need to distribute before you can start solving for H. Okay? All right, I'm done. Well, yeah, you don't have to. You can, but you don't have to, now that I'm looking at the problem. By the way, this is the problem I'm looking at, where you need to solve for H, and there's a little bit more. That's it. So you could multiply by 2 on both sides, which is the reciprocal, and then divide by A over B, which is what they're looking for. Okay, well, that was a little help on number 13 on page 369. All right, now I'm done. Bye, guys.